What's up, Buttercups? Let's dive into Room. Please ignore my housemate's noise. Room by Emma Donoghue is inspired by true kidnapping stories, most notably the Joseph Fritzl case in Austria, the young boy who was born and raised in the cellar. Damn. And I'll be watching the movie version of this, so stay tuned for that one. So basically it's about... Why am I crying? It wasn't that sad, my god. Do I need a minute? What the f***? Whew. Let me just give you a brief overview of the book. A woman, Ma, we don't know her real name, was kidnapped when she was 19 and tricks her into coming into his back shed and locks her in there forever and ever. When she is 21, she gives birth to her son, who is the product of older, which I will call rapping. Wicca what? We start just before Jack's 5th birthday, but we get to know their routine, their coping strategies of being locked inside of a room, mostly how Ma deals with it all. At this point she is 26. She tries to make it as normal an experience as she can with Jack, giving him classes, activities to do, little projects, little games and things to keep his mind active. They do have a TV, so he does learn a lot of what's in the real world, but she sort of puts a cap on it by telling him what's inside TV is not real. With the structure of the book, there is 5 chapters or 5 sections of the book, and I really like that. It just flows from one thing to the next. It's just like a continuous experience, a continuous consciousness, really. Things are summarized and skipped over, but you know, because you don't want to see every second of every day, but you kind of do at the same time. Like, the writer Emma does a very good job of making it feel like a continued existence. There are a lot of key little details that I appreciate. Emma really captures those small details and makes them make sense, and everything is referred back to by Jack. It was fun trying to piece together what was going on, because sometimes Jack's thoughts, you wouldn't really know what he's talking about at first, but then as you get to know him and how his brain works, it's really easy to follow by the end, which is kind of cool. Like, you have to learn a whole new way of thinking, but it is all from Jack's perspective. So some of the heart-to-hearts, Jack zones out and he starts doing other shit, so you kind of miss those. Being a child in a book, pros and cons. The good thing about this book, if you want to indulge in this realm of true crime and like darker stuff, this is probably a good place to start if you're not okay with those things, because it has 0 graphic detail. It only sort of suggests to or tells you about things. It doesn't force you to experience them yourself.
Spoiler alert! From here on out, there will be spoilies. Please proceed with caution.
Spoilers! So halfway through the book they do escape, all because of Jack. We'll get into that. And so there's this reality break in Jack, trying to differentiate between what is real and what isn't, trying to adjust to reality.
At this point I realised I probably shouldn't spoil everything in the book, so just know that there was an escape, but I'll leave the details for when you read it.
I read that so fast, that part, they escape. So after they get out, they go into a clinic for a week or so, and they have an interview, and it really pissed me off. Spoilers! The reporter, or whoever it was, whatever kind of TV show it was, they were super disingenuous. They did not care about her or Jack or the story. They just wanted a headliner that would punch, and some cool clips to take out of context and spin some weird fucking shit. And it's disgusting, because people were so interested in this story that they would have just loved to hear her side of things, and instead the reporters are like saying all this weird shit to her to make her like feel crappy or get a reaction or whatever. It's like, you don't need to do that with this kind of story. Anyway, it's not real, but it pissed me off, which is good writing, I think. It was interesting Jack going to his grandma's for the first time, because she knows what happened, Grandma, She knows what happened, but she doesn't actually have the full understanding of what that means and the outcome. And at first, I found it very frustrating and like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? Or why would you think that's okay for Jack? But then I realized we've just spent three quarters of the book, I want to say, seeing him and his mum and how protective his mum is of Jack. I also felt that in the initial day or two, and then I started to see and realize that no, these are good things. It is good to sort of jump in with both feet and start exposure therapy, like essentially is what that was for Jack. Just a couple things that I found disgusting. The breastfeeding. I mean, I'm not a parent, so it's one of those things, isn't it? It should be fine. I think we're sort of conditioned to find breasts to be sexualized, and so it feels weird. And especially him being a 5-year-old boy, he'll keep lifting up her shirt for, I want some, you know, and that's just a kid wanting milk, but like, he's 5 and she just lets him because it's like, there was no reason to stop. In fact, because their food wasn't the best in room, it was really good for him, you know, for a growing young man. But it was also kind of weird. And the other disgusting thing, this one irks me. Ma has really bad teeth and she's in pain a lot, and eventually one falls out, becomes Jack's best friend, piece of Ma, this rotten, disgusting tooth that he just carries with him, and then when they're separated, he sucks on it multiple times until it stops tasting like Ma. It gives me goosebumps. Like, look at that. Can you see that? Like, why, Emma? Come on. I thought it was gross when I was carrying it around and kissing it, but then you got him to suck on it for like a week. He like went to sleep with it in his mouth and no one took it off of him. I don't know. But spoily, pants on foily, the very last part of the book, Jack really wanted to go back to room. Like multiple times throughout the book, he wanted to go back. Ma fucking hates it, of course, because it's like a torture chamber. Couldn't bear the thought of even speaking about it, but I don't know why it's so sad. Maybe it's not sad, maybe it's like kind of happy. But Jack really wants to go back, and so she does. Oh my god. She does go back. And it's like not the same, because it's like fuck you, book. It's not the same after being out in the real world. And like it's darker, it's smaller. He's like, I don't think this is it. Like half their shit's gone. It's really sweet because then they were both able to say goodbye to the room. I don't know why that's so sad to me. And it's just, it's good for both of them because she's able to, like Ma is able to sort of, I think, get some closure, and he's able to like let go of wanting to be in the room. That's all. Okay, bye. So for my rating, I've found it very hard to finish, but every time I picked it up, I was really keen to find out more. Even on slower parts where we were just going through the day-to-day, which is a lot of this book, I really wanted there to be a court trial, but I think this ending was way better. I want to give it a 4, but I think it deserves a 5. But I don't give any book a 5. So do you get a 5? Are you a 5 out of a 5? A 5 out of 5 book? I don't know. You made me cry at the end. That's a lot. But also I cry over everything, so is it a lot? I want to give it a 5 really badly, so take a 5 as a 5, but a 5 should blow my fucking brain out my head, you know what I'm saying? This was a great story and it wrapped up really nicely and it flowed really well. I want to say 4 out of 5/5, but I don't know, I feel like a 5 should be like the pinnacle of books. You know, I don't just give a 5 out, but fuck, she's close. If not, she is, I don't know. I gotta read more. Thank you so much for watching my weird book review. I hope it makes sense, and I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned because I will be watching this movie and doing a review. I'm really keen to see the differences between the book and the movie. I gotta say, this blurb is true. Room is a book to read in one sitting. When it's over, you look up, the world looks the same, but you are somehow different, and the feeling lingers for days. Fuck. Days?